So it's on now. Cool. Cool. Oh my goodness. What's so funny?
I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I can't say it.
Oh.
The tape is running. The thing is running.
Maybe you should become the kind of person that doesn't have to feel bad about what you'd say when you're not on record. Did that make sense?
I'm not sure. And what's even scarier is if it did make sense.
What I was trying to say is that this is my own struggle too.
Yeah.
I think this is everyone's struggle.
Yes.
Becoming the kind of person in private that matches who you are in public, right? Because we all can put on the mask that we're a good person, but doing things in private that are in alignment with who you say you are in public. It's that classic line by Socrates.
Oh,
If you want
to say Dave Chappelle.
No. Sprinkle a little crack on it.
No.
Chip took off. Can you do Dave Chappelle's impression of a white person? I want to see it.
I cannot do
You
it.
can't? It's like spot on.
It is?
He's like, hi, Dave.
No, but he said something about it's hard to be yourself when everyone's watching
Yeah.
or something like that.
I think it's harder to be yourself when no one's watching.
No one's watching?
I get where he would be coming from if he said that. Like, when everyone has a camera in your face all the time, that's not a problem you or I have. But I mean, it would be hard to just go about living.
Because he records everything.
That's a good point. Touche. On guard. But I think that, if you're famous to the level of like people are like trying to film you all the time, it would hard to just live like just a normal, genuine existence. Right. But I think for most of us, the problem we have is the mask we wear in public of how we behave and think and speak and act is different than how we might act when no one's around or there to like catch us. Right. I mean, the classic definition of integrity is what you do when no one's watching, right? Where I was about to quote not Dave Chappelle, but Socrates.
Oh, that guy.
Who's a little older and a little deader. Yeah.
There's level of deadery?
There's level of dead. Remember Princess Bride, where he's like,
oh, that's
he's
right.
only halfway dead.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Socrates says, the best way to be a person of virtue is to be who you pretend to be. That is, if you can discipline your life to be how you act in front of others so that you're actually that person, you will have gained much virtue. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Do you want to pull your mic up here while we're talking?
Oh.
I just thought about that. We had his mic set up for the drum set.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Or
you're
something.
Good. You could put it on your collar if you want, like right there. I can
actually have a...
Unless you want a third nipple.
You mean a fourth?
I think we all have questions now.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Didn't Chandler Bing on Friends have a third nipple on his back or something?
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so this poem we're going to do today is actually somewhat about what we're talking about, like how we let in.
Oh, right.
What's it look like not to just be a person of virtue who treats people as you ought to treat people in big moments, right? Like when shit hits the fan and you realize someone needs help, a lot of us would dive in and help. But what's it look like to give people dignity and honor, like on a regular basis? I mean, how many of us have had jobs that have made us feel like we're invisible? Whether you're, waiting tables or working across a counter for the government, or you're an admin at a university, but no one deems you as important even though you're making a million things go.
Yeah.
So many of us have been placed into positions where we get looked right past, what does it look like to become the kind of person that never looks past another person, but sees them with gravity and honor?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what this poem is
Yeah.
about. It's called Choices, and it's from a line by Epictetus that says, "If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be." So if you consistently can make choices that are beautiful, and the Greek word for beautiful is kalos. It's a word very, very tied to arete or virtue.
Okay.
And virtue is an ethical characteristic that makes a person good or beautiful, or like a human person that has reached their purpose.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like this big, lofty, ideal concept in Greek ethics. And Epictetus says, if your choices are kalos, beautiful, so too will you be. Like your essence will become beautiful like your choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Very much like when Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. The more
Right,
times you can
right.
choose what's fundamentally right by others, well, over time, you're just a person that does what's right by others. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Right.
Cool. So that's kind of what this poem's about. And, I think Eric and I really try to embody that. When we finish an episode, we usually go to a restaurant and we get into long, involved conversations with the people waiting our tables and stuff.
Right. Right.
And it's really beautiful. And it's a choice to ask them how they're doing, to actually listen and to follow up with more questions.
Right. And see where they came from. And the one woman, she was brought up by a single mom, I believe.
Yeah.
And her whole story was fantastic, and what she wanted to do, and
Yeah.
take that.
Or the 25-year-old kid that told us he went out west and did everything he could to mess up his life, but he's still here, and now he's back trying to get on track. And
Right. Yeah.
His story to me was really beautiful, and we got to hear it because we took the time to give honor first and to treat the gravity of another person in a way that they responded to. There's so many times too where a negative interaction can be flipped to positive if a person comes to realize that you're for them and that you recognize the dignity in them. Yeah. I've had moments where, recently I was in the airport and my luggage was lost, and the person at the desk, I could tell they just got abused again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I went up there and she was angry, and I hadn't even done anything. All I had done was lost my luggage, right?
Yeah.
And she was angry and kind of flippant and kind of trying to show me I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I simply just said, hey, thanks so much for your help. I wouldn't really even know where to start if this counter didn't exist, and I appreciate that. And she just responded all of a sudden in a different way. It was her eyes actually had light in them all of a sudden, and she was like, well, we'll do our best to find this bag for you, and if we can't, we've got a good process for figuring out what needs to happen next. And I just responded with, you know what, that's awesome, and there are greater problems in the world. At least I have a bag full of clothes, and at least I can go get some more.
Right.
And all of a sudden that interaction that could have been negative, divisive, and angry turned into mutual respect and harmony.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So instead of fighting fire with fire, you threw a little water on it. Let things grow.
Yeah. No, you know what? There's a great proverb in the Hebrew Bible that basically says, I'm paraphrasing it, but, if you want a fire to go out, then stop throwing logs on it, right? And so often what happens is this back and forth where we feel slightly insulted, and so then we want to get the upper hand just a little bit more than we felt the insult was, and then they respond in turn, and all of a sudden you have a really negative interaction that everyone walks away from feeling terrible. And of course you could blow that up to whole countries act that way. And whole demographics of people act that way towards one another.
Right.
Where all it actually takes is letting someone know that you see them, you respect them, and you honor the humanity in them.
Right. Yeah. It's just that simple.
It is. This is what's funny is I think it is in the everyday life.
Yeah.
And if more people took the time to become that way in their everyday, Epictetus says your choices would be beautiful, and eventually so would you be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there'd be less and less people ready to just jump on sides and label and be angry. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the recipe for utopia.
No nutmeg?
Of course, nutmeg.
Cinnamon?
Of course.
All right. Mocha? Sorry.
Orange mocha frappuccino.
Oh, you wouldn't happen to have, I mean, this is silly, or maybe not. You wouldn't happen to have duct tape, would you?
Somewhere. Why?
Oh, just somewhere? I don't want you to have to go look.
You want it like right now?
Before we get started,
For what?
I want a different texture on my.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But I don't want you to have to.
It's not a big deal.
Really?
No, we'll just shut this off and get some duct tape, practice a few times, and then, sorry, there's like an eagle flew by out my window, like no shit. And then we'll just come back with the finished poem. So this one's called Choices, and there's a great quote from Epictetus in it that you can like remember as a mantra, okay? Hear this, and you can say it to yourself. If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be. Or you might just say it this simply, if I choose to do right, my life will be right. If I choose to be right, my life will be right. All right, Text and Rockers.
Are you sure Dave Chappelle didn't say that? Sorry.
Maybe he did. Okay, bye, Text and Rockers.
Be good to each other. Ba-da-pa. Oh, that was nice.
Thanks. I do my best.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a drummer.
Me too.
If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be. Epictetus always brings virtuous existence out of shrouded mystery and into the practical, livable, everyday. How often can I honestly say that my choices were kalos across the board for a full day? Hardly ever, but in the endeavor, I'm better than the man I'd be otherwise, had I made no effort to be sister and brother-wise in each encounter, to treat any person across a counter with reverence for the holy fire inside them, and awareness that my words and expressions matter when I do the most mundane, everyday things like place an order. These are sacred moments right on the border of humanity and divinity, and there is no other description than beauty when you cultivate life to follow the prescription of small choices adding up, you see, to big honor and harmony. Excellent.
Like that.
Eric, I didn't talk for like 30 seconds. Text and Rockers, Eric's putting duct tape on his cowbell. Not even kidding.
He's kidding. He's kidding.
I'm not, you're doing it right now.
Oh.
Is this symbol supposed to be shaped like that?
No, it broke, and back in the day.
Do you need a new symbol? Like, we don't make a lot of money, but we could get a symbol.
It's only a symbol. A symbol.
Oh, nice, nice. I was about to say something about it being symbolic. You beat me to it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I like that. A little less ring, a little better timbre. Is that a drum word?
Let's call it that. Timber.
Okay, I'll stop this, and we'll really come back with a poem.